Hey everyone, welcome to this video as we continue to design this Lotus yoga app in our no code tool Bubble. Today we're moving on to our last item on the menu that you see here. We have crushed the home, classes, plans, and now on to the library. So let's start this video out by taking a look at what it is that we're going to be working on. So I'm just going to back that up just a touch. We'll pause it here. Nope, just kidding, we won't. I want to show off the menu of what this page is about. So let's try and get, okay, there we go, cool. So what do we have here? We've got favorites, downloads, poses, custom classes, my badges, some activity metrics, and kind of this gears icon that goes into some additional settings. So for the purpose of this video, we'll be designing, whoops, might have hit back. For the purpose of this video, we'll be designing not all of these. Like for example, custom classes. As someone that has built an app and we're all very familiar with apps. I can't find the use case of what this is. When I click into that, it's would you like it to build a custom class? And no, I would like you to give me the class, please. Also, some of the settings like dark versus light mode of the app, adding in privacy terms and conditions, those types of things, not going to be doing. What we are going to be doing, and then also downloads, what we won't be doing. That's not going to be something that's offered for this app. I'm trying to think of a scenario where someone will be doing yoga, maybe if they're out in nature. But I think, most of the use cases is someone at home, where Wi-Fi would be available or cell signal. So, and it's a bit of a trick in Bubble to make it happen. There's some API stuff that, if it's super important, let me know in the comments. We could see about this in the future. But for today, and to wrap up this work, we're going to be doing the favorites, the poses, the badges. So how do we write some conditional things where some additional images show up when someone completes certain activities that we measure? And then we will be showing off the activity of what people have done for their practice. So let's get started with the favorites, as what we'll be tackling in this video. As you can see, I've got a few favorites shown here. And basically what we're looking at is a new page with anything that's added to the favorites. And then you'll notice you can sort these by type, level, focus, or duration. Now, that strikes me a lot at like those filters strike me a lot like the ones that we have already completed here in the classes page. So I'll be skipping the filters, but building the favorite mechanism, because that's something that's new for us. How do we collect these favorites to tie them to a particular user so that we can display them and so that the user can see the ones that they have favorited, right? So if they had some ones, maybe they're really dealing with a hip issue or something, shoulder mobility, and they find a class that helps them a lot, and they want to save that. I could see, that being very useful. So, all right, let's think about what we have for this page. We do have some segmenting by levels. Now, again, like I said, not going to go that detailed for this. We're just going to tackle how do we get some favorites. So in order to make a favorite, let's actually look back at some of the previous screens where we've just kind of glossed over this. So check this. So on this screen, you see these little heart icons at the top right of the little images. Let's see if, maybe on a page like this, one of these preview pages. Yep. So we got a heart icon there. So let's tackle those as our first step for this. But what do we want to have happen when we, let's see, the class preview group, this is a good one. So people are previewing this class, and they see the icon available for. Woohoo! Okay, got a little bit much going on there. Icon happy. Let's make this 40 by 40. See just how that shapes up. And got to guesstimate the positioning. Looks like we're around that color. Think, search for favorite. Yep. So we'll probably want two states. I wonder, icon color, background style. If we gave this a background style, no. Trying to see if we could fill it in. We can definitely show two different. We can show two different icons based upon some kind of state functionality. Just got a message about. I'm going to try and before I get too far into this, just got a message about an internet timeout. So I'm going to handle that quickly with a refresh. While this is refreshing, let's talk about data. So a list of favorites needs to be created. Every time one of these buttons is hit on these classes, we need to collect them somewhere. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, the way we will do that. All right, internet is fully down. Okay, so a quick internet outage and we're back. So what I think I was talking about the data and how we will save, like, how do we wire it up basically so that when the button is clicked, depending on every user, like if you're using the app and your friend is using the app and you save some favorites and you save 5 of them, we don't want those 5 to display when your friend is using the app. If that makes sense. Like, how do we route the particulars to the repeating group that we'll build to show all the favorites? Well, we do that by tying those to the user record. So a user will have a yoga list of favorites. This will be a text, so that text will store the unique ID and will be a list of them. So that's what we need to do for this, and then we can go out and get that list from different users and display it in that library page. So let's do that. Let's work on that. When this is clicked, we want to make changes to a thing. The current user, we want to change the yoga favorites. Add. Let's see. So we are in the class preview group, and we want to add the yoga classes. Right. So I can reference this class preview group. It has, whenever this page is going to be up, it has this. Let me triangulate onto it. It has this class in it, right? It has the data for that, and so we are referencing to use that class's unique ID. And what else do we want to have happen? I think we want to put a conditional on this. We want this element to appear. So if the current user's yoga list of favorites contains the class preview group classes unique ID. If it contains it, this element will not be visible. And conversely, if it does not contain it, it will be. Right, so if it's not part of the favorites yet, so leave it as this kind of blank icon. And I like this a little bit better at 35. Feels a bit massive. Okay, so favorite, I'm going to call this one not added. Duplicate that. And back it off 10 on each of these. And this is one where we want this icon. And I think we'll give it this color to match this info button. Okay, let's grab that. Okay, and this one, it's got this. So now when it does contain it, we just flip-flop these. So if it contains that, we know that it's already been favorited. And so if somebody clicks this, what we want to do is we want to make changes to a thing. We want to change the current users to favorites. We want to remove the classes unique ID. So I imagine that makes a lot of sense, right? Like those are pretty straightforward workflow steps, but I know that we haven't done anything like that up until this point. So this is great. We'll basically, this is one who's called favorite added. And this one should also not be, yep, make it fixed with. Okay, cool. So let's think for a second. What else? On the classes page, we want to do the same thing. We want, but so let's see. I'm going to try and reuse some of these icons, and we'll see. I think the workflow will change slightly for the data. But watch this, because actually we haven't done this before. This is cool to know. So I'm going to copy with workflows rather than just this other copy or a Control-C on your keyboard. So copy with workflows from the classes group, class preview group, into this one. And now, if you recall, we actually have two of these repeating groups. So kind of annoying that we have to do it twice, but no worries. That's part of the deal. Paste with workflows is the interesting. I want to undo that. I want to, like, if I'm in this repeating group as where I'm selected, paste with workflows. Nope, it pushes me back up there. Okay, so I guess I didn't realize that. I've utilized that feature, but apparently if you're in different groups, it's not a fan of making that happen for you. So grab this icon, and definitely feel free to skip this portion, probably 4 minutes or so, 3 to 4 minutes. Oh, who am I kidding? Try 8 or 10. but basically I'm going to be doing the same exact thing here. So you'll watch me take this icon, get it all spaced correctly, and 25 by 25. Favorite, not added. Just going to take all the exact same steps as before. Copy paste. Back it off a little bit. Let's see, I think we can utilize, maybe. Copy number 4. What's going on here? Let's see. All right. So when current users list of class contains, so in this case, we actually want current cells class is unique ID. So not visible upon late page load. And I'm not going to worry about getting these exactly right. So this one contains, this one does not contain, something about being visible. And then I'll come back to this in a second. And I'll just, add these to this one as well. You know what? That internet connection thing happened just one more time. So I'm going to pause and then be back in a quick jiffy. Okay, so back, and I'm just working through copying this over, paste, define another condition, paste, contains, does not contain, contains, does not contain. All right, so I'm not exactly sure. Well, all right. This one we want as the other favorite icon. And for the color, we want whatever's in this info. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's think for a second. This one's not visible on page load. We want this one to show up when it is a favorite. So it is a favorite if the current cell's unique ID contains it in the favorite list. And then we don't want it to show when it's not there. So then that means we want to come down to this one and we want to select this thing. So if it is part of the favorites, don't show this. If it's not, show this and give them opportunity to add it to the favorites. Cool. Now let's take care of those workflow steps. So here on this one where it is not added, we are going to add it. And here we can just copy this workflow. Nope. Class previews, we want the current cells classes in that unique thing. So that's an important point to note. Otherwise, who knows what could be. That data could be empty in that other group or just a completely different thing. So current cells yoga classes unique ID. Okay, and then if it already is added, we can at least copy as part of this. And we want this current cell's unique ID. Cool. So now that is set up, basically, oh yeah, we need it for both of these ones now. So here I think we can copy and paste with some workflows. So we are working in the classes group. And start with this one, copy with workflows, hide this group, get into here where we want to be, and then paste with workflows. Interesting. Okay, so it pasted them in the exact same group, but we can take this thing, pull it out here, hide that group, and then put it into this group that we're working with. Okay, now let's check the 25, 25, 110, 10. Okay, so one more. Copy with workflows. And then obviously we will verify this, paste with workflows. We'll verify this by checking out those workflows of what exactly they are. Okay, so here we are at 110 and 10. And do these conditionals need anything special? Nope. Basically, it is time to yeah, that looks pretty decent. Go look at that there, and B, just verify that this, when we check out this workflow, we're going to verify that it has this. Make the current cell's unique ID, add that to the yoga list favorites of the current user. And this one here, make changes to the current user, remove that. So what we could do here is, let's go to the beach. I'm going to add that one and that one, beach 1 and 2. And let's add one of these vinyasas and an acro yoga. Now, if we check out this page, yep, so that is already favorited. So that's cool. If we remove it there, add it there. Basically now our next step is to build out the thing that shows these off. So over here in this world of favorite classes, let's see. Okay, so let's think for a second. Profile, we got to build this page, this classes page, or sorry, library page, working in the classes page. We're going to take this and same thing we do with all the other pages. It's got the conditional. We stretch it out to take up this working space area all the way down. Okay, make it look good on an iPad, and should be ready to do some work in here. We are working with just just going to cheat a little bit on the UI. No, I take it back. So what I want to do is that looks a little bit further down than average. So here we have profile, and it's that really more boldish style. So I'm going to go with that. And right, profile. Basically, this little emoji is our logo. So I'm going to take this and load up to 36. What do we got here? What is that word? Pro. Login, sign up. So I'm going to make that fixed with, just seems to make sense for one of these things. I'm going to bring this guy, and what do I want to have happen here? I want a gear icon on the far right, login, sign up. I'm going to just ignore the pro thing for now. Okay. What happens if we do that? If we do that, it looks a little bit closer to looks a little bit closer to how the rest of the things look. So now this one I do not want to be fixed with. And then I'll grab an icon. Do a search here for a gear or settings. Here we go. Make it 40 by 40. And that looks pretty good. Gonna refresh. Okay, I think the issue is settled with the saving reloaded. And what we're looking at then is, what do we want to have happen when this is clicked? I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Next up, let's get this favorites, downloads, poses, custom classes, my badges. So we're going to do favorites, poses, and my badges. And I want to point out one thing here, that this is fixed with, and this is not, this text. So basically, what should happen here is, and I'll group these so that when, no matter what someone clicks, when they click the group, it'll open up the settings panel. And we can just move this all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I think that's better. Just use the spacing. And then now let's go ahead and copy this text down. profile. So this is going to be favorites. Bring this in, and what I'm going to do, copy this icon, go over here and look for favorites. That is pretty massive. Probably go 25 on these ones. Right. If that's the case, then I'll probably go 35 on this one. And bring that to the edge. And down 1, 2, 3. Okay. Trying to think. If I make this 30 tall, and I guess I'll just, all right. I think what I'll do is I'll make a group, and I'll put this stuff inside of the group, and I'll give the bottom of the group give the bottom of the group a border. So we want this 280, center horizontally, bring it up a touch, and background, define the borders independently, border style bottom, solid, and some kind of gray should be good. So I want to drop this into the group. So you saw the group kind of light up red when I did that. And basically, what do I want to have happen here? I think I want this centered vertically, and it's 25 high. I'm going to make this 25 high, center vertically. I think that is 25. If I had 1.5 times 18, that's 27. I leave it at 18 and I go 1.4. It doesn't show, but it will. So let's take a look. 0.4 of 18 is, I don't know, it's not 9, 8, 7. Profile. Okay, so whatever. I want this to be it's labeled, settings, logo, text profile, heading, group, favorites. Clicks on this. And what's the deal here? Well, the deal is I'm going to unbold this, and I'm feeling like I need more space at the bottom. Well, why don't I just tie this to the top? Tie this to the top. See how that shakes out. And then we'll just copy this. Favorites. Oh yeah. Looks pretty good. And actually here, that is noticeably thinner. The text. So I'm going to grab 300. I'm going to go the opposite direction. And we'll say favorites. Make it very, very white because it's thinner. And then copy and paste this group. All right. So how high is this group? This group is 36. I think I want it to be Yeah, 30. Wait. So if that's 36, well, let's just keep rolling. Poses and my badges. Person. I don't think we're going to find yoga poses. This is good enough for now. Check on our spacing. Try again. All right. Okay, so this is 160 plus 36, that's 96. And this starts at 213. Well, let me get started at 216. Put the 20 pixel. So if this is 216, 40, 52, so I want 72 for the next one. Copy and paste that. Put it down at 272. And this one is group badges. Badges. Famous movie quote from a really old timey one. We ain't got no stinking badges. Out in the Wild West. Let's see. Star. That looks good. And then bring all of these up because I don't know why I started them down so far. That looks like a good spot to start. Okay, favorite poses, badges. Check it out. And what do we want to have happen? We want when someone clicks this. Actually, we need a new group. And that group for, let's see, let's take a look at the favorites page. So the favorites page is most like the classes group. So I'm going to copy the classes group, give it a title of favorites, and go from there. Yeah, that looks pretty great. Let's see that on smaller phone. Yep. And an iPad. Really nice. Really, really nice. Notice this icon sticks over here. Everything else looks pretty solid. So hide that. Go to the classes group. And let's do a copy and a paste. And then we're going to have to do some cleanup. So this is the favorites group. Yeah, a lot of cleanup. So let's right away, let's get rid of, let me think. I remember having, category repeating group, the all repeating group. I wonder why this one is, I forget, inside of this other. Oh yeah, so it could collapse. So I'm deciding which one of these we want to keep, and we want to delete this one, because if we only have a repeating group and it's like 3 high, then it's like great. But there's no way to collapse this one. So I'm going to point out again that I pointed out what's missing. Now I'll point out what I'm looking for is that this collapses element's height when hidden. This is what I want to have happen, because in the case that we're working with here for this favorites page, I mean, there could be like 15 favorites, right? So something good to think through of like, all right, what am I dealing with? What are some possible scenarios? The scenario is it could be a long list. If it's a long list, we know that we want to hide that list. Otherwise, if that list fills out really big, and then even when we navigate to another page and that one is hidden, it's not showing, but the height of it just kind of sticks there in our app with a bunch of space at the bottom. So cool, just stuff to know about, think about. We want to delete. I know that could be used for. So maybe you would want to leave this if you were looking to fill in the ability to filter. But quite frankly, if you were building this app for the first time, I would just go ahead and just get some things rolling. Right? Like get your app out there so that people can be using it. And that's the priority. And it feels good too, right? It feels good to get something live, and then you can always come back and upgrade certain parts of it. So what we're going to do, what I want to write here is the favorites, your favorite classes. And I want to move this up, I think 40. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll move this one up 40 as well. How about 33? And then basically the favorites group, the type of content. No, so the type of content for this would be classes. We'll do a search for, we will do the current users, yoga list of favorites, a list of texts. I wonder. Back over here when I created this, just going to create a second one of these, favorite list. And I'm going to create it as the type of data, classes, has multiple entries. So the current users, favorite list. Evaluates to a list of yoga app classes, which is interesting. The data you're displaying is a list of classes. Well, it should be a single. Okay. So I'm going to ignore. I'm going to keep clicking back until this goes away. Okay, which I think also means that extra piece of data, no, it did not go away. Well, I might use it. I want to see, we want to search for yoga app classes. We do want to sort by title, where the unique ID equals I'm going to pause it 1 second and we'll be back with the answer for how to go out and find this data. All right, so I do want to actually utilize this favorite list that I created. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this list of favorites, which should, no, I was going to say it should give a bunch of warnings. But basically, I need to go now to all of these things marked favorites. I need to make changes to users, and I need yoga favorite list. I think to remove parent group's class. Yep. So instead of the class's ID, we're actually referring to the class itself as an entity. So copy that expression, yoga remove, when added, current sales yoga class, yoga favorite list. Cool. So yoga favorite list, add the class, yoga favorite list, add the class, and yoga favorite list. Add the class. So takeaway from this little data, I don't know, workaround, right? We're kind of weaving and dodging through how this should be, but the takeaway is that just move forward, pick a path. We picked a wrong path. We had a failure. Oh no. But the great thing is that we moved ahead and then we identified it. We didn't sit there, and I know that I am a proponent of writing out, kind of what it is you think to have happen. And I guess that's more for like if you're really, really stuck on something, um, like you can probably tell through these videos the moments where, I'll pause things and I will go and try and figure it out to help us move along. But there are other moments where you're kind of, coming alongside in this video and we are, in a sense, kind of wading our way through the jungle of development process. So progress, though, is priority. So progress over perfection. All right, 2 more issues. Make changes to the user, current cells. Right now is a text. So yoga, favorite list joined. When added is clicked, so it already is added, we want to remove the class. Okay. Right. So what are we doing here? We are displaying these classes. What do we want for the conditional? Okay. We actually need to change all of the conditionals on these things. I'm going to do that, come back, and then show you what I've done because we've already taken the step. All right. So I've gone ahead and taken care of getting the favorite icons updated with the conditionals to reflect this new. Actually, I take that back. This is in this last favorite groups. I have not, but I want to show off a few things. One, in our classes group, which is where we started, I just want to make sure that as you update this, if you were following along, or else if you have not implemented this yet and you are working to implement it, implement this so that the current user's yoga favorite list contains the current cell's yoga class. The contains is the top one, doesn't contain is the bottom one. Now, which one of these is selected in the checkbox depends on, which of these icons. Like this icon denotes that it is not, part of this class is not part of a favorite yet, right? So if it doesn't contain it, show it, make this element visible. And so, note that repeating group one there, and then which was in that group so that it could close because that's a large group. These ones are smaller groups for the categories. Of course, reflecting on this, if the categories were rather large and we were doing this app for real, perhaps large as in like more than 4 or 5 classes, maybe actually putting all of them in this repeating group here would be the way to do it. Of course, I am saying that off the cuff without remembering exactly what it is that filters for these. Oh yeah. So we knew that there was no all category, right? So that was the reason for part of the reason actually for. So I guess there's 2 reasons, right? So a lot going on, but no worries, get it handled here. So perhaps this would be wrapped in another group and you'd still have 2 of these if you were building this app and you plan on making your categories rather large, so that you can expose the option that we spoke of before to collapse this element height when hidden so that the display of your app is how you want it to be. So basically what I'm still showing off now is these favorite icons, and then also just for reference that the favorite yoga list, the note that it is all of the ones that say not added, note that they add it. The icons that are labeled not added, in the workflow they add it. These icons here that are labeled as added, they remove this. So what else, since I kind of paused and came back, I went ahead and noted that in our plan preview group we've got list of classes, so we want to expose some favorite stuff there. And also in the plans group as well, this when someone is joined up to a plan, they will see a list of classes, and so we want to show those off for the ability to add or remove. And then last thing to note, for all of your favorite icons, again, make sure that the element is not visible on page load. And this is, me speaking to the moment in time where when we check out all of this stuff during a quality assurance QA process, that I'm kind of already, anticipating things to make it right, but then we'll verify that as we QA it. So what else do we need to do here? Well, we need to add a back button. So that's pretty easy. We also want this to navigate to here for favorites. And we'll add a back button. I want to see 60, 55, 15. Do a little trick here. If I drag this into this group, then I can drag it back up into this one. Otherwise, if I don't drag it down there and I hide that group, I lose the ability to see this thing. So when I say 50, 50, 5, 15 perhaps. So if that's 15, I want to nudge these down How does that look? Nudge it down a full 20. Nudge this down 20. And let's take a look at what we got. And we might call it here for this video. We'll see about what we're showing for this favorite list. But what I anticipate is a group of, well, we might have to go and add some because I deleted that other field. I don't think there's any actual favorites that are stored right now. I think we had went to the beach one and we had added some, but that was when I was storing them in a different data field. And the data for this, I know I went on a very long side track about these favorite icons, but the data for this is so simple. That was when I had last paused it, so I apologize for throwing anyone off by going from that, pausing it, and directly into this discussion about these favorite icons. But bear with me, I appreciate it. So super easy. What classes are we going to get? Well, we're going to get this yoga favorite list. So notice I'm going to mouse over this, and it says that this statement, the current user's yoga favorite list, evaluates to a list of yoga app classes. A list of classes is what we want when we're dealing with repeating groups. And if you recall, when we created this, we created it as a as the type. Where's our yoga stuff here? Type class and a list of them when we define this to set it up. So beautiful for what we're looking to do here. So let's verify now that this page, when we open it, oh yeah, we've got to do one last thing. Got to open this page or navigate to this page when we're on the library group. Okay, so anytime somebody taps this group favorites, we are going to navigate to a page, this mobile one that we're working in. Data to send is a parameter. That parameter is favorites. Cool. Similar to how we navigate all of our other pages. So we're working in our library page. What we expect to have happen is that we click the favorites into the favorites tab. We get this, and then I don't have any favorites at the moment. So let me go out and favorite some. Let me favorite some beach classes. Okay. And how about a vinyasa? And then let's check back on our library. Favorites. Okay, we don't have that back button set up, but we can navigate there from this menu icon. And what else? We'll go more about asanas. Add it from here. So we've gone to a few different spots. How about a third beach one? Yoga at the beach is so great. So just kind of verifying that these work. But then also notice that it would appear that so because we are not logged in as a logged in user, I don't think the system knows how to add data or where to put that data. So that is something for another video. So let's just put a earmark in this that we have built out all the functionality except for being signed in as a user. Now, actually, let me try one thing before we do that. Let me go down to the all users, and then let me run as a test user. And we do not have a nav query string parameter. So I'm just going to say nav library to start us off. That's spelled right. So, what is happening here? I'm running this as a test user. If I go to classes and beaches, it should not be favorited yet because we're running this in a different user scenario. So now I have favorited a few of these in an acro yoga and a vinyasa. I'm going to undo vinyasa and I want to favorite that from here just to kind of, cover my bases. So now if I go to the favorite page, all right, so what is going on? Favorites, go to inspect. Let's see. The name of this repeating group. So I believe this actually lists everything that exists in the editor. So that's not exactly what we want to be able to search. So this all repeating group, there might be two of them because I did not name them well. All repeating group is invisible. Conditional. Got it. So actually, I might have been wrong about a number of my statements that I just made because I was saying how there was a thing about maybe not being logged in. It could just be that that thing was not visible. So we'll find out. But you notice that I navigated to the data area, to a user, and I did a run as. So I still should be running this as that user. Okay, so these are the favorites. So I think the display on this is not exactly how I want it because yeah, these are favorited. And then here on the favorites page, we do get our list of favorites, which is great. Favorites. Further vinyasa. So let's go ahead and remove that. We should see that removed from the favorites. Yep. Let's go ahead and go to the beach one. Remove that from our favorites. So now we just have those two. So to wrap up, it looks like we just need to change the conditionals on these icons. And to do that, yeah, I think I was pointing this out when I was pointing out some of the other things, some of the other updates that I made to these favorite icons. I actually did not update this one. So we want contains and does not contain. And then same for here. So basically paste, and then this does not contain. And then let's just double check that check mark is there. Check mark is there. Good, good. Appearance, not visible on page load. Appearance, not visible on page load. So now if we refresh, we should be seeing this favorites working. Yeah. So just like over here, where when we look at our favorites page, we are seeing our favorited classes. What we have here, or here rather, is what we expect to have. Shows that they're favorited. In fact, I don't have the, okay, last thing to do, and then we will move on from this video, and we will go to the other parts of, which are yoga poses, I believe. Try and find this page that shows us these. We'll move on to poses and badges. So we want to change the yoga favorite list when it's not added, aka the icon is white, and so it means it's empty, not part of it. We want to make it part of it, so we add the current sells yoga class. And then last thing, we will change a thing, and that thing is the user. And we will change their yoga list to remove a favorite. Now you could add a pop-up, because this is part of the favorite, the person's favorite list. And like, do they really mean to remove it? They might remove it by accident, and then it's kind of a pain in the butt to it's kind of a pain in the butt to go do it again. But see there, I've removed both of those and added these. Okay, so we still got to do a back button. Navigate to thank you guys and gals for hanging in on a long video here, but making great progress on this library page. Because we've got the structure down for the top part of this, and we nailed the favorites. But in addition to that, right, like these are some UI stuff. We really got the guts of a favorite, functionality, right? And this is a super common thing in a lot of apps. So I hope that you found value in this for how that type of functionality can work. And I hope it gets you excited that we are one step closer to wrapping up this app. And thank you all for joining, and I'll see you in the next video.